All right, what's up, guys? VV back with another video. And in today's video, guys, we're going to be checking out some Viserai action. Two things real quick. Yes, it has been a while since my last video. I do live in Florida, for those who are wondering, and while I didn't get hit the hardest by Hurricane Helene, we did lose power for 8 hours, and it kind of just messed everything up. It set me behind in so many other ways. I had to get caught up and all that good stuff. Don't worry, guys, I haven't forgotten about the channel or anything like that. Just, personal life stuff got in the way. That's number one. Number two, before the whole Hurricane Helene situation there, I did plan on making a video that will be talking about Wizards very soon. We're not there yet, but I do want to talk about that. And because of how everything lined up, I'm going to have to push that video back to a later time. But I do want to talk about that because I have a lot to talk about there. It'll probably be a hot topic, and a lot of people probably will not like my take on it. But again, I do want to do that video soon because it's something I want to talk about. However, we got to put that on the back burner. We got something else to focus on today. Guys, spoiler warning, we will be talking about tournament results. So if you are not caught up on what happened over this past weekend here in Viserai, in Flesh and Blood, get caught up before you watch the video, okay? Because we will be doing some spoilers on who won and stuff like that, okay? So let me go ahead and break down the video for you guys because we got a lot to talk about in today's video. Number one, we're going to be looking at 3 different deck lists for Viserai, okay? The first one we'll be looking at is one that got first place at a Battle Hardened in Milwaukee. The second one, I believe, was in Lyon. It was it's a featured list by Brodie Spurlock. Someone put it on February. We'll be checking out the list he's running, see what's going on there. And I don't think that one didn't win Lyon. I think that's how you say that, right? Lyon? Lyon. Looks like Lyon. Anyway. We'll be checking out that deck list. He did not win, but he did very well with it, if I'm not mistaken. And then last but not least, we'll be looking at a public Viserai list that I found that I'm going to be using on the sim, okay? That list is actually really strong, and it reminds me of what we're going to be seeing here. We'll talk about that more as we get into it. And then before we go over to the, not the sim, excuse me, I know it's called Talishar in Flesh and Blood. One Piece players called their free online player the sim, and it's called Talishar in Flesh and Blood. So before we hop over to Talishar, though, we're going to do something in between the decks, and we're going to be talking a little bit about price. Because as you can see in the top right corner, if you squint your eyes, I know it's kind of blurred out because I have the picture, blown up. But guys, this is not going to be a cheap list. But we'll talk about that as we get to it. Then, like I said, once we talk about the 3 deck lists, we talk about the prices, then we'll head over to Talishar, and I got a game prepared for us that's running the very last list that we look at. Okay, so let's go ahead and hop into this video. I will have everything timestamped down in the general description, and I'll have all relevant deck lists and deck links down in the comment section. Okay, all right, let's do this. Excuse me. All right, let's get into this. First things first. First place, Battle Hardened. I just tried to combine Milwaukee with Battle Hardened. First place, Battle Hardened Milwaukee. Unfortunately, I don't know who the person's name was because it's not on here, and I don't know who they are. But congratulations to the person who got first place at Battle Hardened Milwaukee with Viserai. Now, let's break down this list, guys. This is a spicy, spicy list here. I absolutely love it. So let's run through the equipment real quick, and then we'll talk about the deck. Running a Face Purgatory, Find-All Spring Tunic, Grasp of the Arknight, Reaping Blade, and Spellbound Creepers. That's its starting setup. Now let me go down real quick to the inventory. It is running an Amethyst Tiara, it is running a Crown of Dominion, a Dyadic Carapace, and a Vexing Quillhand as its backup slots for equipment. Now notice there is no replacement for the boots. It's just running 2 different helmets, a chest piece, and gloves. It's not running any backup for a weapon or any backup for the boots. The boots it's running, of course, are Spellbound Creepers. These are just the absolute best in slot, right? There just simply isn't. I mean, I don't think there is anything as good as these, period. You know what I mean, for what we're doing. Maybe some Null Rune boots would be nice utility boots to have in your sideboard, potentially. And, of course, if you're on a budget, maybe Sutcliffe Suede Hides would not be horrible, but these are very special in the sense that they allow you to do things that no other boots can allow you to do pretty much in the whole game. There might be, I don't know, I don't know all the classes, but from what I understand, this is a very unique interaction here. So, that's the equipment suite. Love to see Face Purgatory already getting some value, guys. This is just a good card. It's just a strong helmet piece. It's pretty much going to make you block for 2 with this and then 2 more from hand and 3 more from hand, where you end up blocking out of like a 7 power attack, and then you're going to draw a card. So you're going to replace one of the cards you just cycled out to block with, and you're going to make your opponent discard a card. That kind of disruption is outrageously strong. Okay, on top of that, I have to combo that with one other card before we go through the whole list. It's actually 2 cards. Succumb to Temptation. This is making them respect our attack. Same thing with Snuff Out. We are basically forcing our opponent to respect our attacks, or we're going to take the card from your hand anyway. And that's fine. Even if we don't take the card from their hand, we just need disruption. We just need a way to say, hey, you're going to respect my attack just enough to slow you down so I can keep the pressure on, so I can keep going face, face, face. Okay, guys? Big fan of this. Now, let's go ahead and break down the list real quick. Probably like the new unsung hero MVP of what at least from what I've seen and from what I've experienced with my limited testing and the tournament stuff that I've seen, this card is just outrageously good. We already knew it was good. Like, I don't think anyone questioned whether or not this card was good, the way it's going to allow you to set up Rune Chants turn after turn after turn. But the fact that it's a 0-cost go again, guys, it is good. It is just really, really strong. Now, this list, this guy here was comboing it with Amplify the Arknights, red and blue. It's worth mentioning this blue is it's practically a 0 for 4 a lot of times, right? This is basically a block 3, pitch for 3, 0 cost, deal 4 most of the times. And think about it, guys, the way that Viserai works, if you've followed up your Amplify with something, hang on. If you did Malefic Incantation and then went Amplify, and let's just say you had 3 Rune Chants, just for the sake of this example, where the Amplify the Arknight's free, well, it's almost like it's doing 5 damage, right? Because here's the thing. The Amplify will come in for 4, and with whatever Rune Chants are coming with it, so it's really like a 0 for 7, but that was already pre-calculated value, right? When you're playing the Amplify, if you've played a non-attack action card before it, you're creating an additional Rune Chant. So, I mean, like, the amount of value here is outrageously good. Outrageously good. Okay, hit the high notes. I think we all saw this coming. It's one of those cards. This is basically the 1-cost version of Shrill of Skullform. Okay, that's actually very relevant, though. Right, guys? That's actually very relevant that it's the 1-cost version of Shrill of Skullform, because of a card like this. Okay? And we also saw one thing that I saw the guy using, whoever the person's name is that won the tournament with Viserai. With Crown of Dominion, all of a sudden, okay, you make a gold token, right? So that's the main thing. So let's just say we have this gold token. Okay, well, check this out. If we pitch a blue for 3, well, now all of a sudden we're going to, destroy this and draw a card. So we replace the card from our hand, and we still have 1 resource left if we pitched a blue. So now we're setting up for the following, sequence. You know what I mean? So it's actually very strong in that way. So having this 1-cost card, it's just so powerful. Malefic Incantation, we already talked about this. This is basically one of your turn starters, guys. Because pause and read Viserai real quick if you don't know what he does. Whenever you play a Runeblade card, if you have played another non-attack action card this turn, create a Rune Chant token. That's not once per turn. You just keep making them as you can play more and more cards. Well, this is the way you start your turn, with a Go Again card that's a non-attack action, and then you follow it up with these attack actions. Mordred Tide, pause and read this card. This is probably the single most powerful turn starter that we have access to. The things you're able to do with Mordred Tide, and guys, it's a non-attack action with Go Again. And it blocks for 3 for what that matters. Who knows, that could save you a game, you never know. But the point is, man, that comes in hot. This card is very strong in the list. Rattlebones is a card I can't stand. I'm going to be honest, guys, but man, is it a powerful card. It's a powerful card that allows you to reuse these cards from your trash, from your discard pile, your graveyard. Again, see, so okay, banish target Runeblade attack action card from your graveyard. You may play it this turn. And this is a 2-cost with Go Again. It does have a block for 3. It pitches for 1. But the thing is, it's allowing you, as soon as you get a card in your trash that's very powerful, well, now all of a sudden, you basically have 3 more of that version. And the card, of course, we're going to be looking at the most are these Rune Rager Swarms, but more specifically, Swarming Gloomveil. You just run them both. They're both insane. And in this situation here, this is a 0-cost that basically is it's basically a 0 cost deal 4, block 3, has go again, and if this hits, they can't prevent any more arcane damage for the turn. So again, we have cards that are now forcing our opponent to respect what we're doing. We always had Swarming Gloomveil. We've had this for a long time now. But at the same time, you know, now that we have Succumb to Temptation, we have Snuff Out, we just have so many ways to force our opponent to respect what we're doing. Okay, so Rattlebones, while I can't stand this card, it is a good card. I'm not, you know, hey, I've got my 3 copies. I'm just saying it's one of those cards that annoys me. Okay, now, whoops, trying to get this thing off. There we go. Revel in Runeblood. Back to Revel in Runeblood, guys. This card is very, very strong. It's a 0 cost, go again, non-attack action. It only blocks for 2, but it creates 4 rune chance if you've played a non-attack and an attack action card this turn. However, at the beginning of your end phase, you have to destroy all your rune chance. So it's basically forcing you to just go, you know, 0 to 60 on your opponent. Just go all in, go all in, go all in, and then you won't have any rune chance at the end of your turn. Well, guys, that's not really a problem as long as we can finish our turn with a Reaping Blade. Reaping Blade is going to attack and throw all the remaining rune chance at our opponent that we have left for the turn, and then we can pass, and then we'll have to destroy all of our rune chance. Oh man, there aren't any left, right? Seems good. Okay, Rune Flash. This has been around for a while as well. It's a 3 cost, deal 4, block for 3 with go again. However, it costs 1 less to play for each rune chant you control. And guys, that is what is so good about cards like this Malefic Incantation. It's setting up our next turn. One thing that I want to experiment with in the future, because, you know, there's always room for experimentation with each one of these different cards, but one thing I want to set up in the future to try to mess around with or see if I can set up is running Malefic Incantations and Rune Blood Incantations. The 1 cost, go again, that creates a rune chant every single turn, because then all of a sudden, it's the value that it allows you to get for each turn. Very, very powerful, making your cards that would normally cost a lot, cost nothing. You know, it all adds up, but that's something to mess around with later. Okay, Rune Rager Swarm, 0 cost, coming in for 3, blocking for 3, and it has go again. Well, here's the thing, guys. Okay, yes, if you can play out your Malefic Incantation first, you'll just have go again, right? Let me adjust my camera just to make it a little bit, there we go, so y'all can see me a little better if you need to. The Rune Rager Swarm, if you play this out and you have a Malefic Incantation down, well, guess what? You're already going again. Because when you play this, you're going to create an aura. Very powerful, but of course you always want to start off with something like a non-attack action card first to turn on your Viserai effect. So you're going to want to start with this next card we're about to look at, Runic Reckoning, Malefic Incantation, Mordred Tides, Rattlebones, Succumb, we already talked about that, and cards like that. Even Sonata Arcanix, this is a 0 cost go again, okay? Becoming the Arc Knight, 0 cost go again. Machinations, we'll talk about this in just a second. Okay, so Rune Rager Swarm ended up being just one of those cards. It is just so incredible. This is a card I wouldn't even be surprised to see go up to 3 yellows as well. I mean, almost just, it just does what it does. You know, it just comes in. It pretty much always is turned on. It's very, very solid. It's a very strong card, and it's just a great way to keep the chain going. And if we can keep that chain going longer and longer and longer, well, all of a sudden, turns where we drop down a Mordred Tide, we're just creating insane amounts of value. And it's all free, right? This is a 0 cost card that comes in for 3 with go again. Yeah, but it's easy to block, right? Who cares? Okay, block it for 3. Because, you know, rune chants are coming in after that, and then more, and then more, and then more. So really solid stuff here. Runic Reckoning. Okay, this card, outrageously good. And don't worry, guys, we're going to spend a lot of time on the first place list, and then we'll start blasting through the others so we can get to the game on the on Talishar. You know, I just want to spend some extra time up front here on the cards, you know, and explaining them, and then we can go from there when we'll blast through the other lists, like I said. Runic Reckoning. This is basically it's a 0 cost card, right? As long as you have 1 rune chant in play, you know, this costs 1 less for each rune chant you control. So it costs 1, if you have just 1 rune chant in play, this thing costs, it's free. And then the next Rune Blade attack action card you play this turn gets +3, and this has go again, this Rune Blade attack action card does. Or excuse me, this Rune Blade action card does. This starts off your turn for Viserai's effect, and now you're just coming in, just beating up everything in your sight. Okay, Snuff Out. This is a very strong card. It usually gets fully blocked, but again, are we upset about that? Right? Like, is that something we're really upset about? I think the answer is no. Now, yes, you do have to be able to destroy an aura you control if you do, you know, You can't discard. You can't have your opponent discard. Hang on. Your opponent doesn't have to discard a card if you don't have an aura to destroy. But that's what Rune Blades are, right? Or excuse me, that's what Rune Chants are. Okay, really good card though. Sonata Arcanics, pause and read this. It's just a great way to start off your turn, potentially fill up your hand a little bit, and then you're off to the races. This is a great turn starter. It deals damage as well, by the way, potentially, you know, as long as it hits. So this card's just very good. Swarming Gloomveil, we talked about this already. Pause and read this if you don't know what it does. Succumb, we talked about this. Arcanite Shard, I saw this coming in clutch throughout the entire tournament. So I've had people say this. We're going to talk about price in a minute, but people will tell you, you don't need this card. It's like, yeah, I guess you don't need it, but it did help people, you know, push through little bits more and more of damage every single turn. You know, it's one of those cards, it's just extremely good. And with the way that our deck operates, if we're running a card like Sonata Arcanics, I can't even talk right now, we're shuffling our deck, right? Okay, because this, you know, target hero, blah, 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 cards put in your hand this way, shuffle your deck, banish Sonata Arcanics. So even if you used a Arcanite Shard early on where it's like, well, I might not even see it for the rest of the game, no, you're probably going to see it for the rest. You probably are going to see it again. There's potential that you will. So it's like generating like additional, like these free rune chants. This card is so crazy good, guys. And becoming the Arcanite as well, where you can search stuff up. There's just so many ways to search around with this deck. Okay, so yeah, let's keep going. I don't want to spend too much time on Arcanite Shard. Become the Arcanite. Pause and read this if you don't know what it does. This is extremely important to what we're doing as Viserai. It's a tutor effect, right? We have to, now you do have to play this out, which is a turn starter, a non-attack action card to start the turn off, but you're going to discard a non-attack action card from your hand to search up an attack action, or you're going to discard an action card from your hand to search up a non-attack action. Here's the interesting thing about this card. You can discard a non-attack action card or an attack action card of any kind. However, the only cards you can search up have to be Rune Blade attack actions or non-attack actions. A little bit of a technicality there, but, you know, pay attention to that. And it's going to have go again no matter what. And it blocks for 3. It pitches for 3. This card is outstanding. This card is absolutely outstanding. Now, we got one more card to talk about. Well, other than Vexing Malice, I think everyone knows what Vexing Malice does, right? Pause and read it if you don't. Machinations of Dominion. Okay, guys, this is a new one as well. This card was coming in pretty clutch, just being a block for 3, pitch for 3, has go again. It's a non-attack action card that gives your next attack overpower, and if you created an aura, this gets go again. Okay, so it's just another way. So look at it like this, guys. Here's how I see what happened. Do you guys remember how we used to have to run 9 Malvrion Skies for that style of Viserai? I know some people are like, I never ran that style. I ran Turtle Burst. That's fine. But understand, people like myself, we were running, Malvrion Skies, 9 of them. And I'm not saying that we shouldn't run any of them, by the way. I do think there still might be some room for the red one, even with what all we have here. That's a conversation. That's a conversation for another day. But that's how we used to have to run this deck. Well, now we have Malefic Incantation, which just immediately generates value. We don't have to hit anymore to generate the extra rune chance. No, they're coming into play. Like, we're going to get them from effects like this, unless they destroy our aura. That's different, though. Okay, now, like, think about it. What used to be our blue Malvrion Skies is now Machinations of Dominion, which just has immediate advantage, you know, or excuse me, well, it has immediate value, where we're going to get the go again that we needed. It blocks for 1 more than the blue Malvrion, and, you know, of course, it's going to give one of our cards overpower. Okay? Now, for our yellow Malvrion, we basically have Succumb to Temptation. A lot of people try to sneak this out with the event, guys, or excuse me, with the effect, where it's like, okay, if you've dealt arcane damage, you can do this at instant speed. That's a cool trick, but let's not forget, guys, this is a 0 cost go again that says the next time a Rune Blade attack action card you control hits this turn, you get to look at your opponent's hand, and they have to discard a card you choose. Okay? This card is now our yellow Malvrion Skies. Because remember, we as Rune Blades are used to our stuff not hitting for Malvrion. Or if it does hit, they don't even care. Okay, well, try not caring about this card, right? Try not caring about me looking at your hand and making you discard a card, unless you're fully blocking out, which that's what I want you to do, right? So it just makes so much sense. And then, of course, for the red Malvrion, I think we should still run it, by the way. But now we have Malefic Incantation. This is coming in. Now, this only does block for 2. The others we saw block for 3. Whoops. Like these right here, the Succumb to Temptation, the Machinations of Dominion. These block for 3. Actually, so does Runic Reckoning. This kind of becomes another one of our Malvrions, right? Because as long as we have 1 rune chant floating, this is a 0 cost go again that gives our next Rune Blade attack action card +3. Okay, so I honestly feel like it's almost like we traded out our 9 Malvrion Skies for these 9 cards: the Runic Reckonings, the Succumb to Temptations, and the Machinations of Dominion. Mordred Tide, you're always running that never that never disappeared, right? But here's the nice thing is, like, now even if you are stuck with like what a lot of people call like a Rune Blade hand, where it's like, oh man, I just got a bunch of Malefic incantations. Okay, play like every one of them. You know what I mean? Just play all of your Malefic incantations, maybe put one in your arsenal to start your next turn with. But the point is, now it's not even the worst thing in the world. Yes, it doesn't feel great to get a Mordred Tide, but hey, that's something you have to put in your arsenal. Same thing with Revel and Runeblood. If you don't have a strong attacking hand to combo your Revel or your Mordred Tide with for setup reasons, you could just arsenal those cards now. So really good stuff. Big fan of this. This direction of Runeblade. Oh, let me finish out the inventory and then we'll move on to the next list. So Deadwood Dirge seems like a good card to just stack up Rune Chants with. It's in the inventory and I don't know how often it came in. Same thing with the Read the Runes. We'll have to look up whatchamacallit, like a deck tech interview with the guy later. I'll try to find it. If I find one, I will post it in the comment section below, or if someone beats me to it, tell me where to look it up, and then I'll post it in the comment section below, and I'll pin it at the top as the top comment. Okay, so Deadwood Dirge creates 3 Rune Chants, Read the Runes creates 3 Rune Chants, and then running Sigil of Suffering over the, what's it called? Reduced to Rune Chant. That's a little bit interesting to me, to be honest. That is a little bit interesting, running the Sigil of Suffering over the Reduced to Rune Chant. However, this does have disruption, right? Because you're saying, okay, I'm going to block out of your attack, and I'm going to deal 1 damage to you. Do you want to pay to stop the 1 damage? If you don't, I'm going to block for 4 and deal 1 damage to you. It's like a 0 for 5, value swing. Or you're going to have to use a card from hand, and I still block 3 of your attack. So again, this is a very high value card. It just has to be said. It really is. But Reduced to Rune Chant is very nice as well, because you start laying on the Rune Chants, right? But I think it probably does. Okay, after just thinking about it for a second, it probably makes sense, because our final attack most turns are probably just going to be a Reaping Blade. So there goes all of our Rune Chants. Our Reduced to Rune Chant costs 1, and now it's like unplayable for us in a lot of situations. It would cause too much disruption. Whereas this is a 0 block for 4 most of the times while dealing 1 damage, because most people don't want to interrupt their turn in that way. So really good stuff there. A little defensive, but hey, it works. And then 9th Blade of the Blood Oath. Okay, I can see a world where maybe your sideboard, you put in your Deadwood Dirges, your Read the Runes, and your 9th Blades, and then what you do is you just like stack up all these Rune Chants at one time and just throw absolute haymakers at your opponent with this 9th Blade of the Blood Oath. Awesome picture, awesome card, really good stuff there. Okay, that's it, guys, for this one. Congratulations again to the person who got first place. I can't remember their name off the top of my head. I probably should just like look it up real quick. What do you guys think? Should I just look it up? Because I have dual monitors, right? So I can just go over to the right here. Yeah, if y'all give me just a second, I actually will. Because I like to give the credit where it's due. Oh, that's the Living Legend from it. Actually, I can go through because I think it was hosted through Min-Max Games was the name of it. Okay, look, pause. Nick Gabler. I might have mispronounced that, but their name was Nick, Gabler, Gabler or Gabler, and I will link this in the comment section below if you want to watch those games. Okay, good stuff. Now, let's move on to the next list, and we're doing decent on time, but I do need to speed it up a little bit. Then we have a game here, or excuse me, we have a list here that we're going to kind of blitz through from Brodie, Spurlock. I always want to spell his name Brodie. I don't know why, but I guess it's actually spelled Brodie. Very good. Okay, good to know. Now this guy's running a card. Brodie here is running a card that I really, really like. Okay, let me move this for a second. I gotta adjust something on the other screen, guys. Give me just a moment. There we go. I really like this card. It costs 2, but it costs 1 less for each Rune Chant you control, and it has Go Again. Now remember, like, oh wait, it has Draw a Card. But remember, it doesn't have Go Again. Okay, well, that's no longer really the biggest problem in the world, right? Especially if you are still running, cards like... Well, this list actually doesn't have a lot, so I guess Brodie's probably using this as his chain ender for the most part, and then he'll have a card to arsenal from it. But Machinations of Dominion can give the card Go Again, and so can Malvrion Skies, which this list is not running, and neither was the last one. However, the next list we look at, guys, it's kind of a bonus list. We'll check that out in a minute, and it's still running the Malvrion. Guys, let me tell you right now, Drawn to the Dark Dimension with Malvrion or with the Machinations card, it's pretty good. It's pretty spicy because you're coming in for the 3. You're throwing every rune chant at them. They have to respect this little baby attack, so they're giving you a card from hand. You're going to draw a card. It has go again if you used Malvrion or Machinations, and now you just keep your turn going. It's very annoying to deal with. Okay, and everything else is pretty much the same. Now, this list is running hang on. Was the other list was running the Rune Flashes? Yes, it was. Okay, I was going to say this one's running Rune Flash, but so is the other one. The only major difference I see is this one's running 3 Drawn to the Dark Dimension, whereas this list was not. They were running Hit the High Notes. So it looks like that's like the one major difference. And it looks like Brodie was running his Deadwood Dirge's main board, but who knows? Sometimes with the inventory, it can be kind of confusing. Maybe it's not actually running the main board, and maybe this should be in the inventory. But it does say 60 cards. I don't know. If anyone knows, by all means, confirm down in the comments section below. But other than that, guys, here's the list. This looks like it's it, guys. Very expensive, and that's what we're going to talk about in just a moment. Not yet. I want to show you guys one more list. I have to give a shout out to somebody in the community. I don't know who they are. I just saw this deck under the... sometimes what I'll do, guys, is I will go to, just decks and go to public decks on the, on February. And guys, I see a list I saw this list pop up, and it was called Pseudo-Zero cost Viserai. And then I go over to the results. I'm like, well, let me see this real quick. It's at like an 80% win rate, guys. Like, look at these matchups. I'm not saying these are the greatest, the greatest performance of all time, but it's like, wait a minute, 100% win rate going second, and almost a 70% win rate going first. I'm like, okay, let me try this list out. So first, I'm going to show you guys the list. And then I'm going to show you guys me piloting the deck on the sim. So I just want to give a big shout out to this person here named DisHarmonious in February, on February.net or whatever. I think it's February.net, right? Yeah, on February.net. I have no idea who they are. Like I said, I just ran across this, and I thought, yeah, okay, that's a pretty cool idea for a deck, because I was struggling, guys. Let me tell you right now, I was struggling messing around with Viserai. I was trying a few different things, and I started thinking about making a zero-cost list. And then I saw someone else beat me, too, and I'm like, okay, zero-cost Viserai, I kind of like that idea. But look, guys, they're running Arcanic Crackles in here. They're running Drawn to the Dark Dimension as well, like we talked about. Running the red and yellow Hocus Pocus. Guys, this is awesome. Malefic Incantation, obviously. Absolutely obvious. Malvrion Skies, red, yellow, and blue. Mordred Tide as a 3 of. It's running the Machinations. It's not running the Succumb to Darkness, but who knows? Maybe you drop the blue Malvrions or the yellow Malvrions, and maybe you add Succumb to Darkness, or Succumb to Temptation, excuse me. But look at this, guys. It's running the Rune Rager Swarms, Revels, Runic Reckoning, and Snatch. Guys, this is, like I said, big shout out to this guy. I think he's on to something here. Now, let's talk about the price real quick before I show you guys the game on Talishar. Let's go over to the one that got first place one more time. We're going to look at the price, some stuff for you to look out for. Overall, there are really 3 pieces, really almost 4 pieces of equipment that are extremely expensive right now. The Spellbound Creepers are running for about $200. You can kind of see it right here. They have it linked through, what's it called? They have it linked through TCGplayer.com. Like, if you look at the bottom left of the screen currently, while I have this moused over, it shows the TCGplayer.com pxf.io, whatever that means. Okay, the link. So Spellbound Creepers are running for about $180 currently, $130 on the Grasp of the Arknight. That card has gone up huge, guys. I bought it when it was like $35. That's crazy. Find All Spring Tunic just sits at $100. Dyadic Carapace is up to almost $60. And it is also running the new Face Purgatory, which is sitting around $45. That one's pretty reasonable. I wish it would get just under $45, like maybe right around $35 to $39, and then I'd probably just scoop it up instantly, but still very good. Now, everything else is pretty cheap with a few exceptions, We'll talk about Amplify in a minute. Not Amplify, Arknight Shard. But check this out, guys. So, Vexing Quillhand, this is very cheap. This is a great replacement for the time being if you cannot afford a Grasp of the Arknight. This card's actually very, very good and has Arcane Barrier. It does not have Battle Worn and block like the Grasp of the Arknight does. and it can't generate runes every turn, but at the same time, being able to bust out 2 quick rune chants, that's really not that bad. Like, it's actually very good, especially on a Mordred Tide turn. Now, real quick, Rattlebones is up to about $14, 13 to $14. Revel and Rude Blood, these are almost up to $10 each. Swarming Gloomveils are up to $21, guys. These have really blasted up in price. Succumb, that's only around $7. This is pretty affordable. Anything under $10, I would consider it affordable. But once you start getting to the $13, $20 range, and I think there's one more, Machinations is around $5. So really not that bad with a few exceptions. Snuff Out's only about $3. That one's not bad either. Now, real quick though. This card, people will say you don't need it. Technically, you don't. Hey, you don't even need to play the game by that with that kind of logic, that kind of attitude, that kind of mentality. Like, oh yeah, you don't have to play the game. It's like, yeah, but people want to play with the best cards. There is no replacement for this card, but I guess you can just run a blue block 3 in the place of it. Something like another Vexing Malice for the time being. It's not the same. I can promise you that much right now, guys. Because like I said, being able to pitch for blue and create a rune chant, if you do this on a Mordred Tide turn, you're about to, you know, do astronomical damage. And like I said, because of the fact we're running cards in here, like where is not Machinations to amplify? No. Where is this one not running? There it is. Become the Arc Knight. Now, you know, this allows you to shuffle your deck, and so does, I think there was one other one. It's hard for me to see it. Like, I have to read every single card. It's so much easier when I can just Sonata Arcanix, that's the other one. And this card's not really expensive either, guys. It's only like $1 a card. Same thing on Become the Arc Knight. They're about $1 a card. But Sonata Arcanix and Become the Arc Knight allow us to shuffle our decks more often. So if you see an early Arc Knight shard, this could potentially be netting you like 2, maybe even 3 rune chants a game. And if you have something down that can combo with it, something like a Mordred Tide, it just becomes outrageously good, guys. Because look at this. Until the end of turn, if you would create a rune chant token, instead create that many +1. It's just really strong, guys. It's just really, really strong. Okay, so that's it. We're done talking about the market. Let's hop into one game so we can wrap this video up, guys. Let me go full screen here. I'm going to turn the volume off, and I'm going to put the speed on 2x, and we'll be good to go. Okay, there we go. Nice. All right. So we have a game here versus Rhinar. Okay, this is me playing. Let me make my head a little bit smaller for this. And I think I'm going first. And this is running that guy on February. His name was DisHarmonious. I don't know who he is. I just saw his deck online, and it inspired me to want to try the deck out. And guys, you're going to see it's really not bad. So coming in for a yellow Arcanic Crackle, he fully blocked out of it. And he also paid 1 to get out of it that way as well. You know, getting out of the arcane damage. And now we're coming in here for the Reaping Blade, and I arsenaled a Swarming Gloomveil. Sorry, now we're caught up, guys. I had to kind of get that out of the way. And now Rhinar is going to come in here and attack. And I'm going to tell you guys right now, this new version of Viserai basically says, let's see who can do the most damage. Okay, coming in for 7. Sounds like we're taking 7. Okay, then he arsenals a card, and now it's our turn. Okay, well, if that's the case, here we go, guys. We're going to start off with a Malefic Incantation. We're going to play out a Rune Rager Swarm. Okay, let's see how this goes. This is coming in for 2 very annoying damage, right? 2 very annoying damage. He takes it to go down to 38, I think. I might have missed something. But then we're going to play out a Runic Reckoning for free because we have Rune Chance. And then we're coming in with a Swarming Gloomveil for 3 plus 4. And this does have Go Again. Now we're going to be able to snatch on the back end of this. Okay, well, excuse me, hang on. We're coming in for the 7s. We're coming in for 7, guys, because of the Runic Reckoning. Sorry, I messed that up. Okay, we're coming in for 7 here. And if this hits, he can't stop my arcane damage for the rest of the turn. Now, I don't have a lot more coming his way, but here we go. Coming in for Snatch. He's going to take that 1 Rune Chant because he had to take damage from Swarming Gloomveil. Coming in for 4 more. Very annoying breakpoint damage. And this is going to draw us a card to Arsenal on the back end. Guys, that card is very good. Let me make my face a little bit bigger if anyone's trying to see me, because we don't really have to worry about the banish zone in this kind of deck. But I still want y'all to be able to see the size of, you know, how many cards are left in the deck and see cards in the pitch zone. They're coming in for 7. Okay, well, I have 2 Amplifies, so I will give him 1 of them because I just don't need 1. So we'll take 4 damage and we'll call it a day. One thing I will say is I actually wish, so I'm running Crown of Providence. I would actually rather have Face Purgatory, but like I said, guys, I pretty much just copy paste the list that I saw, and I wanted to give it a try. That's it. So there's no real logic to it. Okay. Malefic Incantation. That's what we're setting down here. I'm trying to see how I want to do this because I do have a point on Fyendals, but we're going to do things a little bit differently here. So, okay, I do a 0 cost Arcanic Sonata Arcanics. I do get a card from it. We're going to go ahead and play out the Rune Rager Swarm here with all my Rune Chants. And guys, this is just a barrage of damage. Half of it is arcane, half of it is physical. And they're going to Scowling Fleshbag me early. Okay, so I'm not exactly upset. It's a good play. I mean, I think it's a little early, but it does hurt my hand a little bit. But guys, I'm just going to Arsenal the Amplify the Arcanite now, right? Like I don't really have any choice, so I'm just going to Amplify the Arcanite. So right here, I do have to do a little bit of stuff. I think I'm trying to get Go Again. Hang on. I lost track of where we just were. No, I did a Rune Rager Swarm. I don't need to get Go Again. Sorry. I was mousing over the Spellbound Creepers. I don't even need them. Okay, so right here, I'm just going to do the Arcanic Crackle here, coming in for 3, because I am going to have a card at the end of turn with Amplify the Arcanite, okay, because they got banished from the Scowling Fleshbag. We're just going to Arsenal that and call it a day. I didn't get to use my Fyendals. They're starting off with a Blood Rush Bellow, okay. I didn't get to use my Fyendals last turn. That really irks me sometimes when I can't use it, but sometimes you can't use it every turn, or every time you first get it. Okay, so now it's my opponent's turn. They do have 2 resources floating and a Fyendal Spring Tunic online. So they can come in pretty hot here and do some damage. They did a Blood Rush Bell to start the turn, but guys, I'm just slamming down Spacebar. I have 2 cards that are intimidated right now. Yeah, they weren't hitting, guys, they weren't hitting the combat chain. I'm just hitting Spacebar. We're just going Spacebar, 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 okay? Which means just pass, right? You see how it says pass Spacebar in the middle on the right? Yep, we're just Spacebar. Yep, man, that's some good damage you did there. Absolutely. And it is. This is strong damage. Like, this guy's coming in, I think he did like 20-something damage this turn. Okay, well, now it's my turn, though. So we're going to come in with a Mordred Tide to start. Remember what's in my arsenal, guys. I have an Amplify the Arcanite in my arsenal. I have a resource on my Fyendals. I can go ballistic this turn if I need to, for the most part. I am kind of limited. I don't have, like, the craziest start. But here we go. We're going to go Mordred Tide. We're going to be able to Fyendals to do to give Go Again to one of these cards. Okay, so I play out a Mordred Tide. And now I think we're going to go in with an Arcanic Crackle. And this is going to create something like 5 Rune Chants, right? There's 6 Rune Chants. Because we've played a non-attack action card. We had 2 Malefic Incantations. Those are going to create 2 each because of Mordred Tide. And then we're going to create another one from running the Arcanic Crackle out, having played a non-attack action before that. So we're at 6 Rune Chants. So I messed up something here. I did have to, so I'm still learning Talishar. I was like, hey, I'm trying to give it Go Again. What am I doing wrong? I had to actually enable chat, and the guy helped me out. Kudos to that guy who helped me out. Thank you so much. I needed to let this resolve. You see where it says active layers at the top left, where it says active layers, priority setting can be adjusted in the menu, choose a card to pitch. I had messed that all up, and I was like, hey, man, I'm trying to do it in this way. Can you help me out? And he told me what I needed to do. So, again, big kudos, big shout out to that guy. Thank you so much. Because he knew what I was trying to do. I just didn't know how to do it in Talishar. This would have been easier for me to execute, playing a game live as opposed to on the computer. But now I understand with the layering, the way it's set up. I needed to just cancel that. Now I can choose an instant, being the Spellbound Creepers, waiting for the other player to choose an instant if they have anything. Now I can do the Spellbound Creepers, and look, I typed over to the right. I said thank you. You can't see it because I have it all blocked out. Then I give this Go Again, or I play out my next card as if it were an instant, which is a Malvrion, which will generate 2 more additional Rune Chants from my Malvrion. I'm going to sling out a Amplify the Arcanite, basically for 8 plus 6. This is coming in for 14 damage, and if it hits, guys, I believe that was a red or yellow Malvrion. I can't remember now, but it's coming in for, it was a blue Malvrion. But that creates 2 Rune Chants because of Mordred Tide. Now we're coming in for a Drawn to the Dark Dimension. This is coming in for 4 plus 3. It's going to draw me a card that I can arsenal in a turn. Guys, this is what Runeblade looks like now. Okay, this is what Runeblade looks like now, and I'm a big, big fan, I have to say. It's not the same as the Rosetta, Thorin, Malvrion era going on. Can you imagine if we had Malvrion? I mean, I think most people are like, you know, shaking right now, like PTSD style from that kind of idea. Like, what do you mean? You know, that's too much. That's right. That's right. That's what we want. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, really good stuff here. Okay, they're choosing how they want to counter out. Yeah, and at first so they end up taking it back again because they pitched a blue at first to pay for 3. Then he tried to do a red and a yellow to pay for 3. It's like, no, just pitch the blue. That's definitely the right call. Like, no doubt about it, the right call is to pitch the blue to pay for the 3 in this situation because they're rune chance. And I understand he wants to have a follow-up turn, but it doesn't matter. He's just so close to lethal right now. You just can't even flirt with that idea. You have to try to survive this turn with as much as you can. So we get a Malvrion, we'll arsenal that, and look at that. We're going to have a great turn on next turn here. They hit me with a pack hunt, which does intimidate one of my cards here, whatever they did to go with it. And here we go. My turn. It's going to start off, and I've got a red Malvrion in Skies as well, guys. Okay, so red Malvrion coming out here. Going to start off with an Arcanic Crackle. This now has Go again. This is a yellow deal 2 and deal 1 arcane damage, plus whatever rune chants are coming in. We have a Revel in Rune Blood coming out on the back end of this. Guys, this is just Nightmareville for my opponent, and they're at 4 life. So we're going to Revel here. It's going to create a whole bunch of rune chants. 4 and then +1 for okay, and then we're coming in for the Snatch. Okay, and let's see what happens here. They're going to counter out as much as they possibly can. They're countering, and then I'm coming in for 4. They're going to have to give me some 3, and actually they didn't have enough. They were just shy of being able to survive there. But real quick, guys, take a look at this average damage threatened per turn. We're at 14.25, and average damage dealt per turn, 10 damage per turn. It was basically a 4-turn game. We were on the 5th turn, I believe. Really strong, guys. Really, really strong. So let's just summarize, just, to wrap up the video. Let me go back to where we were. This is the list I was just running, was this zero cost list by this guy named DisHarmonious. It was not my list, and man, this thing pumps, guys. It absolutely pumps. But next thing I want to try is these new lists that we just saw that did very well in the Battle-Hardened Lyon and it was I get it backwards. The Calling in Lyon and the Battle-Hardened at Milwaukee. That's what I'm going to be trying next. But guys, I have to tell you, this list is spicy. Even the Hocus Pocuses, I don't think we got to see those in that exact game. But man, there's a lot of potential here. This list is a lot of fun. Absolutely enjoying playing Viserai again. Okay, I'm done rambling. That's good enough for now, right? We're going on to 45 minutes here. We're getting close to the amount of time that I spend on my One Piece videos, where like most of those are like an hour-long videos. But, guys, unfortunately, I just don't have the time available to run 2 channels, putting out 7 videos a week and doing, hour-long videos for each one. I just don't have it in me. Maybe in the future, who knows? But no, we're done. Thank you guys for sticking around this long if you did. You guys tell me what y'all think in the comment section below. Are you excited to see rune blades like this, or are you not? What are your thoughts on the lists? Like Brodie's versus, oh gosh, what was the guy's name? I had it up right here. Nick's list versus Brodie's. There was only slight differences, but what do you guys think about it? What do you guys think of Drawn to the Dark Dimension? That was the one that I was running in that last game, or in the game that we saw on Talishar. Brodie was running this, whereas Nick was running Hit the High Notes. What are your guys' thoughts on that? So a lot to talk about, a lot to think about. I really want to see what you guys say in the comment section below. Big shout out to the person here, DisHarmonious, for making this incredible zero-cost build. Big shout out to Brodie and Nick for doing as well as they did at the Battle-Hardened and the Calling. And yeah, guys, really, really happy to see how Viserai is doing already. So far, so good, guys. Can't wait to see it. All right. If I missed anything, y'all help me out in the comment section below, guys. But just be nice. Please be respectful. That's all I ask. And yeah, thank you to everybody who likes, subscribes, shares, comments, and views my stuff. Thank you guys so much. It's helping me out. It's helping the channel grow. And I hope you all enjoyed. And until next time, peace.